What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. We're back for a match preview. Yes, it's Manchester United versus Reading. FA Cup action. We're in every single cup, Marcel, still. We're still in 4 competitions. The FA Cup is one of them. We've got a pretty favourable draw here. A championship side at Old Trafford. It's the return of Paul Ince to Old Trafford as well. Of course, he's the Reading manager. How are you feeling about this one? You feeling confident? Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm happy with how the squad are performing right now. I was saying before, maybe rotate the squad, but I've had a change of heart now. I think you want to
I
play
saw that,
maybe,
Marcel.
yeah,
I saw that on the road trip
yeah,
to the Carabao Cup semi-final. Flex was like, "Look, let's go really, really strong. Let's go after, let's play all these players." And you're going, "No, look, Flex, you got to rotate all the players.
yeah,
Rotate the players. Play these sort of lesser players." And he did not. But now, would
yeah,
this be the time to rotate? This would be the game, surely.
yeah. So I just have it off the back of that feeling. I'm thinking to myself, maybe go as strong as you can, in certain areas. Still, maybe play Sir Marcus and add one or two, other fringe players in there. Maybe you rest Anthony. I'm not sure. I don't want to. He needs to get into form, so maybe you keep him. But it looks like it might be another just strong side, just to brush the opposition there and get through it, and maybe rotate second half as best as you can. But I don't know. I think for me now, I'm definitely seeing it as you have to maybe play your best side. We've seen what can happen on the counter attack against us, against Nottingham Forest, and they had a couple good openings. And this game might be more of the same. Yes, it's in front of the 75,000, and it'll be a fantastic atmosphere. We can grow into the game a lot easier. So your youth players maybe get utilized. But I think that's maybe second half kind of job. I think you're going to go strong again as possible. Maybe rotate Fred in there for Ericsson. I think Ericsson looked a bit tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I'm just looking at the fixtures now. And again, I would still rotate quite heavily for this one. We've got so many games coming up. We've got a game every 3 days, every 4 days. And it is tough for United. And this would be the game to rotate. Championship side at Old Trafford, not even a championship side in form. They're mid table, they're 14th at the moment, but they haven't won a game in their last 4. I think they had a decent start to the season. Like I think Paul Ince has done a pretty decent job at Reading, to be fair. When he came in, I think they were bottom of the table last year. I think they had a points deduction as well. Either way, he saved them from relegation. So he's done well there, but this isn't a championship side in decent form by any stretch of the imagination. So this would be, I think, the game to rotate for Erik ten Hag. But then you also look at the fixture list, you'd say, well, okay, if you rotate for this one, the next game after that, once again, semi-final second leg, which
Yeah.
you would say, touch wood here, Marcel, is pretty much a done job. 3-0 up, go to Old Trafford. So it depends what he wants to do. My feeling is he'd go, I'll rotate for this game, and then against Forest, I'll still play a relatively strong side because you never know, and we want to confirm that place at Wembley, and then you've got Palace after that in the league. So maybe this would be the game to rotate. And if he does, then let's say he does rotate, what side does he pick? Do you think? I mean, could this be a time where we thought that and who was it against Charlton? We were saying, is Jack Butland going to play? And it wasn't. It was Tom Heaton in the end. Could we see Tom Heaton play? I think that's a fair chance he could play. Or is it going to be Jack Butland making his United debut?
I think it'll be interesting to see if Jack Butland does get an opportunity. I was watching him in the warm-ups, but he's getting wrapped.
Those warm-ups, Marcel, with you.
He was getting wrapped though. He done all right, but he's getting wrapped. A lot of good finishing from the side against Forest in the
I
warm-up.
tell you what, if Marcel's concerned about the warm-ups, bear in mind he wanted Dubravka to play in goal for Manchester United because he had a decent warm-up. If Jack Butland's having a bad warm-up, we might be in trouble if he's playing at the weekend. That's all I'm saying. But yes,
Yeah,
carry on.
it wasn't particularly brilliant from him. But I would like to see maybe a rotation in the goalkeepers and an area, of course. But it's not a big concern. I don't think in terms of the goalkeeping situation, that's not a big concern. David De Gea has been brilliant this season. Yes, you might want to see something change up in terms in the back line. Maybe give Martinez a bit of a rest. A Lindelof Maguire situation. They've had plenty of partnerships together. And keep Malacia in the side. I think, but the only reason why I would say you don't want to rotate against this Reading fixture is because it's a different competition. Going in 3-0 against Nottingham Forest, I think that's the game where you can change it up quite a lot. Whereas this game, we have to win it to get through to the next round. Play your stronger side here, rotate a little bit. Very little, 1 or 2 players. Ericsson, I think, definitely deserves the rest. But against Forest now, Forest is the one that I would say is the game, the fixture after this as well. I think
Mm.
that's the game where you can rotate and rotate heavily. Again, good advantage going into it. So yeah.
I mean, obviously, at the time of recording this, we're recording this before the press conference. So Eric Ten Hag might give some additional team news after the press conference. Nevertheless, just some team news for United. Harry Maguire is available again after he served that one-match Carabao Cup ban in midweek. A lot of people were speculating, oh, why wasn't Maguire playing? It was because he was suspended. He's an option to come into the back four. Of course, Sandro Martinez was player of the match against Forest in the week. Lindelof was paired with him against Forest, so we'll have to wait and see what they do when it comes to that. My feeling is that he might go with Maguire and maybe Lindelof again, or who knows, Varane might play to get some match rhythm, but I think he might have just a bit of an extended break, Varane, I think. Do you think that's the right move?
So Varane, I think has to play in this fixture. This one is the more important one in terms of he gets through this, then he gets another rest, another prolonged rest against Forest. I think because Forest is almost a done deal. This one is a different competition. We need to get through in this competition, play your stronger partnership. Varane Martinez has been out of this world right now, but play
Yeah.
him and Martinez. We know that locks off defense. That shuts out all problems. Fantastic cover game that Varane has. And then you maybe put Malacia in there, needs consistent football matches, or Luke Shaw if you really want to go completely strong. And then, coming into Forest, you rotate Varane out.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Shaw, you mentioned him. He was absent due to illness in the
Okay.
week, so we'll have to wait and see whether he comes back. And of course, we'll find out today in the press conference. Other names that are on the sidelines: Diogo Dalot, Axel Twanzebe is back in training. I did see that. I'd be stunned if he had any involvement though. Donny van der Beek, we know, is out for the rest of the season. Anthony Martial, who knows? Like honestly, who knows? But even if Martial was fully fit, he would not play against Reading because Ten Hag would be like, can't risk it. So Martial, don't expect him to be involved. I would think their course will play up front. Jadon Sancho will get an update today. I would think. You would think maybe still just a little bit too soon. Maybe he might be on the bench. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know how long that's going to take. But I suppose you wouldn't be totally shocked if he was say on the bench, Marcel. Now that he's been
Yeah.
back for in full training for like a week or so. I
Yeah.
think it's about that kind of time. So, could we see a Sancho cameo? Do you think maybe?
I'm saying it every single game, and I'm just kind of going at it, hoping that it happens sooner rather than later. But I want to see him play, man. I need to see his progress levels if he's really been able to kick on, because the next Premier League set of games it's going to be difficult. Leeds coming up, and kind of aggressive, high intensity football matches. Barcelona coming up. We need him to get the minutes under his belt. So these kind of fixtures here, where especially Forest at home again. Let's see if he can come in again
Yeah.
today. If he can get 20-minute cameo, let's see if he can come in. So I'm excited to see Sancho back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would be the perfect time. I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes off the bench against Reading, then a game against Forest, like you said, near enough a done deal, play 70, 75 in that kind of
Yeah,
game. And then
yeah,
next
yeah.
thing you know, you're kind of getting back into that sort of match rhythm, ready for the Premier League and ready, hopefully, for a final in a few weeks' time. I mean, that Carabao Cup final was in, was it late February? So about a month's time, if touch wood that we get there. Other names as well, Facundo Palestri. Now, we spoke about that right-hand side position there. Could Facundo play at the weekend? I mean, he came on against Forest, was good. He came on against Charlton, was good. Has he earned the right to maybe have a go from the start?
Facundo, I really like him. I remember KG mentioned him ages ago now in terms of just getting him in and amongst the squad. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. Had a few good actions against Forest away the other day, and I think he's somebody that we need to look at now, and another young wide forward, Ahmad's there, Palestri's there, Garnacho's there, a lot of competition in the wide areas, and he looks good. Almost made he made a bad back pass against Forest though, gave away the
Yeah, I
ball
saw that.
last
Yeah.
few seconds of the game, little mistake there, but he's young, and would like to see more of him.
What about any young players as well? So Kobbie Mainoo's been on the bench recently. Is there any chance that could he start? Could we see something? I mean, he did start. Was it against Charlton in the Carabao Cup that he started in the quarterfinal? Is there any chance he
Yeah.
could start? Do you think?
Played in the 10, in that game as well, which was quite an interesting one. I normally see him as a bit of a 6, good build, looks already like he's grown so much into his body and physical presence a little bit, but has a lot more to learn in the game in terms of tempo. I think he played very safe that game. This isn't like you mentioned it already, mid-table side, not brilliant form. So a good opportunity for him to come in.
An interesting one when it comes to Reading as well, just a bit of Reading team as well, because it's always important to talk about the opponent. They've got a couple of injuries. I mean, some familiar names. Andy Carroll does play for Reading. He's on the thumbnail. You saw that. But he has, shockingly, a race against time to be fit after hurting his ankle, apparently. Some other injuries as well. They've got, obviously, the likes of, I think, Tom Ince plays for them, because wherever Paul Ince is, Tom Ince
His
is
son.
not far around
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corner. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they've got the likes of Tom Ince playing there, Jeff Hendrick. So look, they got some decent players, but make no mistake, Marcel, if Manchester United were to go out of the FA Cup in the fourth round at home to Reading, that would be one of the biggest shocks of the competition, certainly this year, and certainly the biggest shock of the round. So we've got to be expecting to get a job done, haven't we? We would be expecting to get a job done, irrespective of the team we put out. You know, depending on who we put out, it might not be totally comfortable. Even when we played Charlton in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, and they're a League One side, at points, whilst we got a comfortable looking result at the end of it, at points, it was a little bit, touch and go. They had a couple of opportunities. Would you expect the same at the weekend?
Yeah, I think it is about that squad selection. I remember, I think the beginning of the season, it sounds like an ages ago now. I think we went and played a Spanish side at home and lost 1-0. Ronaldo was playing back then, and we played
Oh,
I don't know if it
Sociedad.
was, yeah, Real Sociedad. That's yeah.
That's why
It
we've
was Real.
got this fixture situation right now, because of Lissandro Martinez handball. That was never a handball.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's one of those ones where you got to be careful of the side that you put out, and just the expectation. Don't underestimate the opponent. Go in there, having the right kind of mindset and being able to execute. Rashford's on fire right now. I think if he can, do the same that he done against Forest, have a 45-minute cameo, try and be as effective as possible, and get the job done early. I think it's that first goal, the first couple of goals is always important. And yeah, we're expecting to win. I'm looking at a 3-4-1 kind of result there. Lots of goals, lots of opportunities to score, and that's what we need this season. Breaking down banks of four and scoring goals.
I was going to say prediction time then. What's your prediction? Recently, the predictions have been a bit all over the place, Marcel, recently.
Yeah,
So
they
what are
have.
you saying?
I want lots of goals, Owen. So I'm gonna say 3-1 or 4-1. Lots of goals. Like we've seen it, they're not as strong, and we've been brilliant at home. We've been really, really good. I've really enjoyed our football at home recently. So 3 or 4-1.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go with a. Ooh, I'm trying to think. Have we had a game this season where it's like 4-0 or anything like that? That kind of decisive. I mean, over this sort of since the World Cup, we've had a couple of games that have been, I think, 3-0 or 3-1 or stuff like that. I
Yeah,
want to get like a 4-0. I think that I'm going to go with 4-0. A Wout Weghorst home goal as well. He
yeah.
got his first goal for Manchester United against Notts Forest away from home. I think he'll play, and I think his link-up play will continue to improve because of that. I think he gets his first goal at Old Trafford, and we can all gallop like Haley was around the studio at UVHQ. But I'm going to go 4-0. I think that, and again, that's no disrespect to Reading. I think I echo what you're saying now. I think that Manchester United at the moment have just been really, really good at home. If this was away from home, different conversation. You'd say, look, away from home, FA Cup, they'll be sold out at their stadium, might be a bit different. But Old Trafford, under the lights, 8 p.m. kickoff. United they're in cruise control at the moment. And even if United aren't playing particularly well in certain games at home, or they go through their patches, they still are making chances, scoring goals. And we've said here that we think Ten Hag will rotate, and I think he will. But every single time we think he's going to rotate, he still plays a strong side anyway. And we go, that's stronger than I thought. So don't be shocked if Ten Hag does play a really strong side. And you go, why is he playing that strong side? Because Erik Ten Hag wants to win every single game. He wants to win every single game. He wants to win every single trophy. And he'll realize, again, in the same way we got good draws in the Carabao Cup, this is a good draw in the FA Cup. And if we can get further and further into this competition, hey, I'm all for it. We've been so long without trophies. To get one would be very, very nice indeed. So there you go, guys. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your predictions? What is your predicted starting lineups? How far can we go in the FA Cup this season? Let us all know in the comment section below. Remember, there's plenty of UV content on the horizon. Tomorrow is match day, so we're going to have road trip settings. We're going to have match view settings, all of the fan views as well afterwards too. It's going to be myself and KG on the match view as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. A KO match view, which they can be pretty crazy. Nevertheless, guys, we're out there. Have a good one, and we'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.